Yeah, he is. He's a mass murderer, ruthless, and very competent. So, he's got that going for him.
When I first met him, I mean, yeah, there were like private jets and champagne overflowing, and I had about 3 new fur coats within the span of 2 weeks.
Hello, my name is notorious. I am #1 top-rated drug dealer in all of Chicago. I am originally from Belarus, country nearby Russia, used to be part of Soviet Union, grew up there many years back before coming to America. I was not many luxuries I had in Belarus. My mother, though, she was very smart, she was very creative, God bless her soul. She taught me to think outside of box. Most children in Belarus were kept inside box. My mother, she let me outside the box. So I got a different perception than most. Understand? Growing up there was very difficult. I killed my first man when I was 8. I killed him, I strangled him with piano wire. It was very expensive to get guns, and you just needed to work your way up mafia through murder. Coming to America, I saw everybody here was lazy. Slow, lazy, not work hard, not understand. Half these guys never kill anybody, and they're children. So I see opportunity. Because of my mother, she teach me to think outside box. I watch everybody dealing cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, pills. Everybody doing all these drugs, and the cops catch on because traditional. Now me, smart thinker, I decide to make my own drug that no one ever heard of. I call it fiddle faddle. Now what this drug is, it's a combination of cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, laxative, Adderall, crystal meth. And all this combined, we sell it in a small gummy bear. So no one understands what it is. We sell them for $25 each. It gets you so fucked up, this gummy bear. It gets you so fucked up. It's the best thing ever. It was really big in the club circuit around 06, 07. No one knew what was going on. The cops didn't know. They just thought everybody wanted gummy bears, understand? So, there was no paper trail, because that's how people get caught, with the paper trail. We had no paper. You only pay in quarters.
He once had me buy a Learjet for him with quarters. Do you know how many quarters it takes to buy a Learjet? Dump trucks worth of, and I called and they laughed at me for hours. And I just said Dimitri, and the next day we were in a Learjet.
We did $400 million worth of business every year, all in quarters. I had quarters, my wife and I, we sleep on mattress of quarter. My bathroom's filled with quarters. My friends had quarters.
You ever read The Prince by Machiavelli? It's good philosophy.
You see, my wife, she's a very smart woman, my wife, she is. We originally had kept all of our quarters in mattress. I have back problems now. I did not foresee this.
So the quarters, just an insane period of my life, living with that man in his quarters. He used to have mounds of quarters in his house. He'd stuff the mattresses filled with quarters. We used to live and sleep on mattresses filled with quarters. We couldn't take them though. It's not like we could walk out of there with money. He'd pay a guy, once a month he'd pay a guy to come and audit and count all the quarters just to make sure we weren't stealing. And if we had a stole,
Dead, murder, you're done.
he'd kill us. And so, really a traumatic experience. Living with a guy like that, just awful to like sleep on a mattress full of quarters, and you know, didn't do wonders for the back either.
Now we have all the exposure on the soldier, and we have fear in them because if a quarter is missing, even by accident, dead, murder, whole family, you know, like no exceptions. Do you understand how difficult it is to hide $400 million of quarters? We hired the guy to bury it like treasure, like pirates, in the woods. We kept maps, just so many quarters.
Do you remember those movies, Pirates of the Caribbean? You know, Captain Jack Sparrow. Well, my husband loved him. They came out, loved him. Everything was about pirates all the time. And he was like, "This is great. You know what we can do? We can bury the paper trail. We just bury the money. You don't have to think about it. No one's gonna be able to track us down that way."
Yeah, he was incredibly eccentric. For example, when he saw Pirates of the Caribbean, his takeaway was to bury treasure and create treasure maps.
You can't tax buried treasure.
Only he would then burn the treasure map, which doesn't make any sense, right? If you've got a buried treasure, but then you've destroyed the treasure map, that's no longer, that's just money underground. Anyway.
There was this period when he was so obsessed with treasure hunts. I mean, he would have them all the time. And these guys, they would come back with quarters, sure, but they had to take out second mortgages on their homes.
It's real weird when your boss sends you out to go find quarters, you know, and go find, quote, treasure. So I literally did not know where the quarters were, and I would just have to go to like ATMs. Hi, do you have any quarters?
Yes, we have quarters.
Okay, how many would you say you have?
Just so many quarters. Eventually we didn't know what to do. We opened vending business. We had great vending business going. I almost thought about going 100% legit. We had all Bass Pro Shops on board for our vending machines. And what did the vending machines sell? Strictly gummy bears. So no one could tie the two together. Of course I would have lots of gummy bears on hand. I'm #1 gummy bear distributor for all Bass Pro Shops in the entire country.
Yeah, just living and being around him is insane, right? Like, they give you these cell phones and you have to answer it at all times. So if you miss a call, dead. If you speak too loudly, dead. If you speak too quietly, dead. It's just, the pressure's overwhelming. But the healthcare benefits were amazing. Great dental.
When I first met him, I mean, yeah, there were like private jets and champagne overflowing, and I had about 3 new fur coats within the span of 2 weeks. But I thought it was just because he was so successful at venting, you know?
So what happened, right? Well, a detective got a little too clever.
So we're out by Gurney, and I see a Bass Pro Shop. And you know, I'm not really like an outdoorsy guy, but I like to go see what the outdoorsy people are doing these days. So we stopped in for a minute and just to peruse, you know. So we get in there, and we're in there about 20 minutes before my little girl, she starts bugging me for some candy. And she starts going on and on and on about how much she wants this candy. So I finally crack, you know, Father of the Year, crack, give girl some candy, and we go find a vending machine.
He was with his family at one of these Bass Pro Shops, and one of my men, I hate to say, he fucked up. You don't fuck up in this business.
Well, these vending machines only got gummy bears. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, but whatever.
He had put the Fiddle Faddle gummy bear into this Bass Pro Shop vending machine.
So go ahead and get her some, just to, you know, get her to be quiet a little bit, get her to, you know, just enjoy our time out as a family. Well, about 15 minutes later, I find her on top of the canoes. She's strobing these lamps like she's listening to EDM, and she's gripping these gummy bears in her tight little 11-year-old hand.
Now, they look very similar. This cop didn't know. He bought gummy bears for his children on the day they were out. He got so fucked up. And he didn't understand what had happened, so he tried a gummy bear. He got fucked up.
So I get her off the kayak, and I go, hey, give me one of those. You know, what's going on? Is it just a bad sugar reaction? So I take one of them, and 15 minutes later, I'm stark raving naked in the indoor pond. I got my wife trying to pull me out, and I'm losing my own mind. I'm looking around. I can see sounds. I'm feeling intensely connected to nature.
All these gummy bears had so much cocaine, so much heroin, laxatives. They were shitting everywhere. There was Adderall, there was crystal meth. Like, things had gotten a little crazy, you know? He realized there were so many drugs.
And we can feel love through gravity, all kind of super, pseudo-spiritual stuff. But at the time, it was real to me, and unfortunately, it was real to my little girl. So that's what got me on the case, because at the time I was just a bike cop.
So we started to investigate. Turns out he was able to follow the trail of the gummy bears back to me.
I told Sarge that we had staked the Bass Pro, waiting for the guy to come and refill it. And when he did, we followed him. We actually followed him all the way back to the warehouse they were distributing out of. We had the place surrounded, and we had everybody arrested. 43 arrests.
Me, or rather, my head of business, who is no longer, because you cannot prosecute a dead man, understand?
Why was it going so well? Because the 43 guys weren't the inner circle. These guys, the best we could tell, they just stocked vending machines. Low-level drug runners, low-level guys. There was nothing directly tying them to Dimitri. So about 15 minutes after the arrest, I get this call from this detective buddy of mine, right? Screaming at me to come back to the station. And I get down there, and all 43 dead, cut to pieces on the floor of the drunk tank, because that's where we were keeping them, And standing in that tank was Dimitri. And he was wiping off this really weird-looking curved blade.
This blade was gifted to me by my father. I did not know the man, but this is all he left me. I use it to this day. I've killed over, I don't know, sometimes I lose count. Maybe 200 men with this? Yeah, probably about 200. It's super good. It's made in Nepal. Mostly I would not recommend getting things from them, but they make excellent blade. Excellent. Super sturdy, and what I love about it, it has these rivets so that all the people's blood, it just drips right off and you don't get nothing on your hand. It's super convenient, super nice, super strong. I recommend it if you're looking to get into mafia business. Machiavelli's The Prince, really good blade, and just common sense. Be able to think outside box. I think that's key.
And he says, good police work, and walks his happy ass out. That's all he says. No one tries to stop him. No one goes for their guns. No one goes to make an arrest. They had just watched this man cut down 43 people. How crazy is that? I can't even blame him. That was...
And then I found out what he really did. And I was like, my husband, my Dimitri, the man who's allergic to bees, the man who carries an EpiPen with him everywhere, he kills? That, how do you come back from that? That's crazy. That's crazy. I was like, I'm in a movie right now. That's nuts. Who is he? Monster of Minsk?
I find a lot of inspiration in YouTube videos. I love the YouTube. I am on Reddit constantly seeing what people are doing new. And even cooking videos. I'm a big fan of Rachel Ray. Rachel Ray is like number one. I'm number one fan of Rachel Ray for sure. Even seeing things she does with sauces and onions and basic cooking properties, it just really inspires me to think of new things in mafia life.
It's Rachel Ray this and Rachel Ray that, and Rachel Ray really knows how to cook a steak, honey. Why can't you cook a steak like Rachel Ray?
Should have a entrance strategy and exit strategy. For me, my exit strategy was to just live off the quarters I had. My family, we eat lots of candy bars and potato chips and things like this, because no one knows when I spend my quarters. But we live well. We live very well. And my kids love Ruffles, they love Fritos, you know, this American shit. I try and get them to eat some like real Russian food like caviar or olivier or something like this, but piroshki. But you know, they really prefer to eat from the Ruffles, the Fritos, or McDonald's. Don't even get me started on the McDonald's. My kids love McDonald's. McDonald's is the shit. You know, I mean, you go out drinking once or twice, you have a few tequilas, and yeah, maybe late night you want the fillet of fish and fry. Okay, whatever. But my kids always with chicken nugget, French fry, the toy. These toys are shit. Shit quality. I don't understand why they want these. I buy such nice stuff for them. They have TV, they have iPad, and they want the stupid McDonald's toy. I don't understand. So, yeah, that's the story. Uh, we still operate, but under different name now. No more vending machine, no more quarters. We moved to dimes. It's a little bit more difficult to hide money and to store it, but you know, the cops are at the catch on the quarters, so what's next move? I'm not gonna go to nickels, that's crazy, but we can move to dimes.
So the investigation was dead. No witnesses. No evidence. Somehow all the gummy bears were gone. I don't know how I got them out, but